And I didn't think my head hit that hard. Like, I thought I'd be all right. Until I get there. And I pee. And I almost fall over into the urinal while I'm peeing. It was kind of a horrifying experience.
And girls, I need y'all to just rock with me. Yeah, I used to dream about a Dodge Charger. Suicide though, sitting on 24s. I was trying to find a job and shit, why bother? Being broken, make you try harder. Sitting in the house watching Coach Carter. Plotting on this fucking Cartier. Hey, plus a nigga trying to go farther.
All right, welcome back to the Off ADHD Podcast. This is episode 16, I think. I don't even know what episode I'm on. I'm going to be honest, I haven't filmed an episode since January. It's March. Where's my phone? Oh, that's right. I'm back, I guess. I don't know. I was getting in this routine of filming these podcasts and hanging out and being with my friends a lot and getting back into everything after the new year and everyone getting back, because a lot of my friends were gone. I was gone. So I was getting back in that flow, and I started 75 Hard. I got 35 days in, and then on day 36, I ended up failing technically, but I want to finish it out for the last 40 days. I'm really tempted to do it, but I don't know if I actually will, because I don't want to say I failed. Like, I want to say I was able to finish it, but the stress I endured in those 35 days probably had enough stress and effect on me to give me gray hair. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm 15. And I don't think it's good to have gray hair at freaking 15 years old. So we'll see if I go back for the last 40 days, because I had no signs of stopping, and then I went snowboarding. And I was going to count my entire day of snowboarding as 2 workouts, because I think that should count if you're going snowboarding all day. I had half a gallon of water on the way up. I didn't drink any on the way there, and I was going to drink another half gallon on the way back so I could finish my gallon off. I was doing my own version called 75 Harder, where I added journaling, and I added cold showers and a limited screen time on my phone. So I had a lot more rules on top of the read 10 pages, take a progress photo, drink a gallon of water, 2 45-minute workouts, and you can't break a day. I ended up in the ICU with a brain bleed. I ended up in the same hospital with the same ICU room as my grandpa was in 3 years ago, almost to the date. That's crazy to think. So with that comes my documentary called Room 254. I have briefly explained this at the intro of my last video, but I didn't fully explain it, and I want to fully explain it in this podcast. And I'm trying to do podcasts more regularly every other week or every week, depending on what I'm doing. And this summer it'll probably be every week, because I could run up podcasts on the football field like during 2 days and shit. So that'll be fun. Room 254. The ICU room I was in and my grandpa was in 3 years ago. So, wait, let me phrase that better. I was in a couple weeks ago, well, just over a month ago, about a month and a half ago now, and my grandpa was in 3 years ago for a knee surgery. He ended up having a stroke. My grandpa and I are pretty close. He kind of taught me a lot of things I didn't know about, like, working hard for things, and like you have to earn what you buy, and that reflected to everything that I have now, like these cameras, this computer, and I don't want to flex like physical objects, but like he had really shown me what it took. So that story goes back all the way to when I was like 8, when I wanted to buy a GoPro, and then it went through the whole process of a GoPro to a skateboard to a computer to a better camera to another better camera to another like big computer purchase to another camera and another camera. Yeah, it's been a lot, and it was. I was thinking about that time the day before, and I was in Walmart with Zane. Zane was helping me. He was filming me. I was buying a GoPro because I knew I needed a GoPro for this trip because I was going to take this big camera down and I was going to take my old busted GoPro. So I knew I needed a better GoPro. So I went out, bought a new one, and I think I talked about it. I said my previous best investment ever was my old GoPro, and it taught me a lot, and I think I briefly told the story. I haven't really fully looked back at the clip because I just started working on the docu, and I need to get interviews filmed. But basically the premise is the story of my concussion and everything that happened, and my brain bleeding, going to the ICU, and how it happened, because I kind of, sort of went slightly MIA on what my current life was. Like, I had older stockpile content, and I was working so hard through 75 Hard that I had so much, like, content piled up, and one of the things I had to do, or one of the things that I wanted to do to add on to it was have, I also had to only take cold showers. I don't know if I mentioned that in my rules, but one of the things I wanted to do was, like, create something, like, every week. Like, there was supposed to be a podcast every other week, a main channel video every week, and then a TikTok every week. And through that TikTok, I ended up making a, like, sports-related TikTok because of what a lot of my life was. Like, basketball was a huge part of my life at this point, and it still is. Basketball is a very, like, fundamental piece to my entire life. But at this time, it was my season, so I had to be active. I had to get caught up with that, and that was a lot of what my workouts were. Where one half of it was practice, the other half was going to the gym after. I want to start going to the gym after school again, but I need to get Rico back on that. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Enrique hasn't been in, like, a lot of my videos recently, and it makes me sad to say that. But me and him have just both been pretty busy with different things. And we're not growing apart. We're still really close, but we really only see each other at school. Like, I'm busy with track, he's busy with soccer, I am busy with working and going to the gym, and that's about the only time we see each other is at the gym. He's busy with his family and his significant other, and we're definitely still really close, but we don't film as often, and we don't hang out as often as we used to, which makes me sad. But we'll be around each other soon enough. It'll be his birthday soon. He'll be 16, and he'll be whipping me around. And it's crazy to think that he'll have his provisional off when I'm getting my full license. That thought baffles me. But back to what my current life has been since. Oh, you guys have not been caught up at all at what has gone on this year. Last time, we left off at my Florida trip. That podcast was posted about a month ago, and it was filmed 2 months ago. Before that was the McCoy podcast, which was filmed in November, which was also posted right at the start of February. And before that was the podcast I filmed in November. I've really been slacking on the podcast. I was just getting on my schedule. Like, I filmed that podcast of me and McCoy. I filmed a solo podcast that has never seen the light of day because it's kind of dog. I then filmed the podcast with Zach and everyone, and Adam and Shane. I think Shane was there. No, Shane was not there. I need to get Shane on the podcast. But I filmed that, McCoy's, a solo podcast, and then I went to Florida. I came back from Florida, I was on the grind, and I kind of fumbled the bag because I was so focused on the main channel stuff because I had filmed over, 300 gigabytes of stuff in, over 400 gigabytes of stuff in Florida. No, over 500. Yeah. I filmed a lot of stuff and took a lot of photos. So I broke that up into 3 videos, and then through that process of breaking up into 3 videos, it took me all the way from, that was the first 3 weeks of January, and then I posted the podcast of me and McCoy, and then I had the podcast of me, Zane, Cole, and Carson, but I sat on that because I had to get the rest of the stuff done. I had a week gap and then I got my concussion, and I couldn't do anything. So I maxed out my time, like what my head could tolerate, on editing the video. I don't remember what I did. It was a whole bunch of random stuff. I haven't looked back on any of the things I've created recently because I really, honestly haven't had time. Being busy with filming basketball, working on client videos, breaking drones, trading, investing. Like, I've been pretty busy, but I accidentally kicked the camera. I don't necessarily know how I feel about saying I've been busy because I feel like I'm still slacking even if I'm working like a 50-hour week. Like, I don't know if it's healthy how hard I am on myself. Like, if I'm on my phone for like 5 seconds, I think I'm addicted. But my screen time today is, my guess is 3 hours. I haven't looked at it in a minute. Like, I haven't looked at my screen time almost at all over the past like week. 3 hours and 30 minutes. And just a couple months ago, it was about 6 hours a day. But I feel like I was almost more creative at that time. I don't know. I think it was just where I was at, like the circumstances in my life. My life has changed a lot, if I'm being honest. I don't want to go on a negative note because my freaking brand is called Seek Positive, so like I don't want to go to a negative spot. But where my life was in November is a lot different than what it is now. And a lot of that has to do with a relationship I was in. I really don't want to get into it because I talked about that enough in the episode where I talked about my Florida trip. But something I do want you guys to know is that relationships are a very big portion of my life. And it takes a lot of me to be able to trust someone enough to the point where I trusted this person and then this person turned their back on me. And I don't blame them for that. Like, I'm definitely a hard person to put up with. I can understand why they did it. I can understand how I can come off as too much, but that does not dismiss the fact that it still hurt and threw me off track. But I don't want to look at it in a negative way because honestly, what's there to be sad about? I have everything I can want in my life. And this process of my concussion has really taught me that I need to explore myself more. Like, I need to get out of my comfort zone more. I fell snowboarding, and I was in like the middle of the mountain. So like this is the top. There's like a run. There's like small hills at the bottom. The middle of the mountain is like mild. Like you could get down it if you're a beginner. If you've like hit in the hills down here. And then the very top is like, you're supposed to be pretty good to go down like the middle, which is called the North Face, and like there's Christmas Tree, and there's like a whole bunch of these cool names at Alyeska Resort. So I went with Bobby and Ransom, and Ransom's girlfriend Cadence for Bobby's birthday, because Bobby's birthday is February 11th, and we went the Sunday after, so that ended up being the 13th, meaning I spent Valentine's Day, which was a Monday, in the ICU. And immediately after I checked out of the ICU, first place I went was to get basketball photos. I don't know where those basketball photos are, but they're legendary because you can see the band on my wrist and the gauze that's covered in deep red blood that is taped to my arm. I don't know if there has ever been another basketball player in the history of my school that has pulled up from the ICU to go get their photos taken. If it's been done and my coaches are listening to this or watching, tell me. I'm really thinking I'm the only one at this point, because who else is like that? Like, tell me, who else is like that? I've yet to meet another figure that's like that. I guess I'm just that guy, or maybe I'm not that guy. We'll figure it out. But I was on the middle of the mountain, and I was trying to go all the way to the bottom so I could get on the lift to go all the way to the top, to go like halfway down the very top of the mountain to go eat, so then I could fill my body with nutrition and then go all the way to the bottom again, and then go all the way to the top, and all the way to the bottom, and then the middle, and then the bottom, and then all the way to the top, to the bottom, and do like all the cool stuff. But I was in the middle of the mountain, going to the bottom, and I was having a hard time. I didn't realize my bindings were really, really loose, and it was supposed to be like a lot tighter. So my feet were like shifting around in the bindings, and I thought it was supposed to be like that. I thought it was supposed to be pretty loose. So I was like, how do people do this? Like my feet were shifting around in the bindings. So I didn't know that it was supposed to be like that. So it was hard for me to control what I was doing. But as soon as I figured out how tight the bindings were supposed to be, and Ransom helped me, and life became 20 times more easy. Like, it was so much easier. But all I had built on how to snowboard was built on loose-ass bindings. So I end up going to the middle of the mountain on a run I hadn't done before, because I did like 2 or 3, 4 runs, kind of like sliding down on my butt half the time, being on my feet and doing pretty well, then like slamming really hard and slamming really hard and slamming really hard. But that was all because I couldn't find my balance correctly because of my bindings. So I'm doing solid. And I go to the middle of the mountain, I bomb it. I bomb this corner where it's supposed to be going slow, but I bombed it and I was going pretty fast. I ate it once, and then it's this really narrow stretch. Both of the sides, you fall off a cliff. So I was very frightened. There's like a little hill, and there's a whole cliff. And if you fall off the cliff, you were like, I don't think ski patrol could have found me. I didn't have the equipment to survive. So if I fell off this like little hillside, or the left side, which would be my back because I do it regular, I was falling straight off a cliff. I probably would have been found off of that side. But I got spun around trying to find my heel edge, and as I was doing that backwards, I fell. The mountain is going this way. I'm going this way. I fell backwards. Like, imagine my wrist is my head. I fell backwards. I smacked my head, like, really hard. I had a helmet on, but it didn't really help. Like, it kind of hurt me more. Like, there was the rubber mounts that go to the strap at the bottom. Those rubber mounts dug in directly to the back of my head, where they ended up finding like a very small brain bleed later. I get all the way to the bottom of the mountain, and I'm like really nauseated at this point. Like, I barely get to that part, and then I go up the 2 biggest ski lifts that take me all the way to the top. I get to the very, very top, and you have to do like probably a 300, 400 yard section, and then you end up at the restaurant. And I go to the restaurant. I actually hit a butter. Like, my first time snowboarding ever, I hit a butter at the top of the mountain. Evidently I wasn't supposed to do it, because Ransom told me, like, hey, that's a butter, like, you're doing it, but, you know, just like, don't try to do it again. I did it all right, I guess. I did it a couple times, but when Ransom looked at me, I did it terribly. So, yeah. I get to the restaurant where Bobby and our other friend Marina are waiting, so there ends up being 5 of us, because there was Bobby, Ransom, me, Marina, and then Ransom's girlfriend. So, yeah, 5 of us. Did I say Bobby's girlfriend or Ransom's girlfriend? I don't remember. Ransom's girlfriend. I get there, and I didn't think my head hit that hard. Like, I thought I'd be all right until I get there, and I pee, and I almost fall over into the urinal while I'm peeing. It was kind of a horrifying experience, because I had to strip all of my layers off, and I got to my snow pants, or my bibs, as some people call them. I'm standing there. I'm peeing. It's like the best pee of my life. Like, there was one point in the night where I was really contemplating just peeing myself, because I didn't want to wait. I almost passed out into the urinal, and I forgot about this part until I was looking through my photos in my phone, and I took a photo of my pee. Like, I don't remember doing it. There was a lot of bubbles in it. I'm not going to show you guys the photo. I might put it in the docu. I don't know. But I don't have very much recollection of taking this photo. But I do remember I almost falling into the urinal. And I think I only peed once up there. The urinal looked different up there than it did at the bottom, where I peed like 3 different times, but I'll save that for later in the story. Yeah, I almost fell into the urinal, and this is when I realized that I was kind of messed up. So I text my mom as I'm eating. I couldn't tell you what I was eating. I would have to ask Bobby, Ransom, Marina, and Cadence what I was eating, because I don't remember it. I know I bought a Gatorade because I sent a photo of that to my mom, because my mom told me to buy something with sugar in it because I hit my head. I chugged the Gatorade. I think I bought a water. I couldn't tell you what I was eating. And I look outside at like the reflection of the sun off of the ice on the side of the mountain. And I just remember the feeling of like the pain like rushing to my head and like behind my eyes and like across my forehead. Like it was this really, really distinct and like sharp pain. And then I could start feeling my heartbeat and like the throb in my head. And at that point I knew like, oh my God, I have a really bad concussion. I've never really had that thought before besides one other time. This time it was so bad. Like, it was a really bad concussion. I had really bad vertigo after I fell asleep the first time. But I went all the way from the top of the mountain to the bottom. I missed part of it, so I had to go back to the middle. I took a wrong turn, had to go back to the middle, then took the middle down. Like, half conscious. And those were my best runs. I think I fell once or twice, but it was just onto my butt. And I just had to get back up. And I remember there being a very certain moment in the restaurant where I said this: my head hurts so bad that I don't want to keep going, but I don't want to let myself quit. And I feel like those words really proved how like ruthless I was. Because I just wanted to do better. Like, I felt like I was doing terrible. And I felt so bad because I felt like I was holding Bobby, Ransom, and Cadence up. Like, there was almost a sense of relief when I went back to the car. After I got to the bottom of the mountain, I went to the car. And I went and fell asleep. I fell asleep listening to music. I had the pit vipers on. I had Cadence's pit vipers on. Cadence is Ransom's girlfriend, if I haven't already said this. I put the pit vipers on, and I fell asleep. I was asleep for about an hour, and I know this because I fell asleep listening to Yachty's album, Nothing to Prove. I fell asleep at the first song, and I woke up at the last song. So about an hour. I wake up, and I think, oh my God. My first thought is, oh my God, I have to pee really bad, but I'm also really thirsty, so I chug a whole bunch of water, and then I'm almost losing my bladder. And I didn't want to wear the pit vipers into the resort again when I went to go pee. So I took off the pit vipers, put them onto the dash, and I look around. And I think, oh my God, that's bright. That hurts my head. So I waddle my ass to the bathroom and I pee again. And then I go back to the car. I fall asleep. And then I took this Snapchat that I'll put on the screen right here. God damn. Ow. Yeah, it was bad. I did that about 3 times, and then that summed up about 5 hours. Bobby, Ransom, Cadence, and Marina were on the mountain for 5 more hours. Then we go home. We can't really see, and all the headlights really make me want to yak. I walk in, I waddle in my house, and my mom said it looked like I was drunk. I don't know what it's like to be drunk, because I'm always sober with my Seek Positive stuff, and that's part of this drop. That's right here. You guys should go to the link in the description and go consider buying one. Remember that. So, my mom questioned me, and then I went to the hospital, where they later took CT scans and found that my brain was bleeding. They held me in the ICU, and there was a very distinct moment where I was laying there where they told me I would either have to get flown to the nearest biggest hospital, which is about 250 miles away, and I would have to get there by helicopter. And I hear the helicopter start. It ended up being for a different person, but it was really unclear at this point what they were going to do with me. So I hear it spinning, and I think, oh my Lord, that's for me. I thought the helicopter was for me. I don't want to keep talking in that voice because I think it's unserious, but I need to get serious for this part. I was very terrified, to say the least. Like, I was, for lack of a better term, I was shitting bricks. Like, I was so scared that I was going to have to get put into this helicopter and flown to another hospital to get, like, immediate brain surgery. But before this, the doctors were talking about blood. And I thought they were going to, like, take some of my blood out, test it, see what was happening with me, because I don't know what they do with concussions. I don't know if they have to work with blood. I was talking about blood. I am terrified that I have to go interact with my two exes' moms, because they both work in the same hospital, both in blood. I was terrified about that. Then, on top of that factor, I was terrified that I was going to get medevaced to the nearest, like, really big hospital. Then they tell me I just get to stay the night at the hospital close to me, which I was already in. I just have to go to the ICU side. And then I have to pee. They don't let me out of the bed to pee. They say I can't walk because of how bad my concussion is and that my brain is bleeding. So they give me this weird tube. If I can find it, it looks like this. I couldn't pee in it. Like, it didn't work. Like, it didn't bend that way, and there was no way I was fitting all three objects in there. Like, that was not going to happen. I don't want to get that explicit with you guys, but I need to get this point across because I want to have a very brief sum of it before you guys hear the whole hour and a half, or watch the whole hour and a half, 2 hour, 3 hour long documentary. I don't know how long it's going to be yet. But I guess I've stockpiled footage for it for 3 years. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. It was supposed to go to a completely different project, but I ended up scrapping that project. But I have all the files. I archived that entire project, but I kept all the files. This is why you keep your files. And there was a very distinct moment when I was on that mountain where I asked for strength. I asked the Lord for strength. That was like my second or third run. And I got strength. And I remember they were wheeling me to the ICU room, and I looked at the numbers, 254, and I thought, this is the second room my grandpa stayed in. And it brought tears to my eyes, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm getting emotional talking about it. That's so sad. But that was a very weird time in my life. I feel like that is where I discovered that I had seasonal depression, I guess. I'm not diagnosed with it, but I get really sad in the winter. And I feel like around that time was when I figured out that I had it. So my grandpa being in the ICU and being really messed up didn't help that fact. And I really wanted to stream and do YouTube, so I started working on that a lot. And then soon after, I had built up enough money to buy my first camera, my M50. So I was kind of MIA from YouTube at this point. Like, I had uploaded videos here and there at the start of 6th grade, but this is the end of 6th grade. I was doing track, and I wanted to stream, and I would stream all the time on YouTube and Twitch. And other than that, I was really MIA. And it's a weird story to tell because I've never really told that story. Like, that's a very complicated story to tell. But that's that story. What else has happened? Oh, Drop 2. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot about this. Drop 2 came out. Look at this. Everything of Drop 2 came out, and I don't know how to bend to I guess like that. I don't know. Everything of Drop 2 came out that I've been working on since, as soon as I got back from Florida. Like, I had some of these ideas, before. Like, I came up with a lot of these ideas when I was, right after Drop 1 came out. Like, Drop 1 was probably out for 3 weeks before I started brainstorming ideas for Drop 2. My plan is to have 3 drops a year with Seek Positive, and there'll be a early spring line, which is what just dropped, Drop 2, and there'll be a midsummer drop, and then there'll be a fall/winter drop. It will probably be later than October this year, but there'll be single items here and there probably, based on seasons and holidays. There will also be holiday sales pretty often. So, like, last time I got to do in Drop 1, I got to do a Black Friday sale, I got to do a Christmas sale, and then in Drop 2, so far I have done a St. Patrick's Day sale. I don't know, there's not many holidays around this time, like in early spring. I don't think I'll do an Easter sale. I just don't think it would happen. But in our summer drop, there will be stuff involving the 4th of July, so there'll be a 4th of July Day sale. And yeah, and then a lot of that stuff will probably run into around the time of Halloween. I'll probably drop a Halloween shirt or like a hoodie or something, like something cool. Seek Positive is just cool stuff. That's really it. It's cool stuff to promote positivity and being sober, and just a lot of stuff that involves me, and I don't really have a place for it, so I created a place for it. It's pretty sick in my opinion, and I find it sick that a lot of people support it, and this is all the start. Like, I am a freshman in high school. I am 15 years of age, and I have built this little thing, and I love it so much, and I cannot wait to work on it and create so much more and make it an even bigger part of my life. It's like probably 95% of my life, if I'm being honest. But I cannot wait to make it something bigger. I don't know if I've ever told the story. This is my favorite story ever. Like, this is up there on my favorite stories. I don't think I've told this. The story of Drop 1's photo shoot. Like, just this entire day was so mint. Like, I was just telling this story earlier. I go to the football field with Enrique and Riker and Dresden, and there's other kids there that were there before that we ended up playing with. I was ref, so I was just kind of messing around being ref, and I had to get the stuff from the drop. Like, I got this bracelet right here, and then all the stuff that I ordered from Drop 1. I end up going to the movies later with, who else came? I think Bobby was at the movie. The girl I was talking to at the time was at the movie. I don't know who else was there. There was a lot of people at this movie that I was friends with. Thus led to me, I was talking to the girl that I was at the movie with. I ended up getting in a fight with this old guy that was like a row in front of me because I guess I was talking too loud. And then he ended up threatening me. I'll break it down. So I'm like having small talk with this girl because it's our like third time hanging out, I guess. Like, first time, I guess, put on the label as talking. No, second time. Second time put on the label as talking. So it's that, like, stage of, like, you both know you like each other. You're flirting back and forth a lot. You're making comments here and there about, like, what you want each other to do. And she, like, bet me on something. I don't remember what it was, but she bet me on something. And I guess I replied too loudly. And the people in front of me said that I needed to shut my mouth, And I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And I guess I got too loud again. And then they were like, okay, learn how to shut the fuck up. And then I said, well, yeah, I'm kind of learning. Like, I'm only 14. Like, I'm a freshman. Like, a lot of this life is still new to me. Like, and this entire time, like, me and this girl are holding hands, and every time I talk back to this guy and his wife or girlfriend, I don't know what they were, he probably wasn't happy, but she's like squeezing my hand so tight to like try to get me to stop, but I can't. I have this issue with my self-control where I can't not win, like bantering back and forth. Like, that's one of my favorite things for some reason, is like bantering back and forth with people. I don't necessarily like arguing, but like bantering back and forth like with my friends is really entertaining. And like, there's a lot of it that goes into race with my friends, but our friends are close enough to where it doesn't bother us, like, if we make jokes about race, like with each other. So a lot of it ends up getting cut out, but like cut out of my videos. But it still happens like in public sometimes. And I guess I made a comment about that to one of my friends, and it really made this guy mad, and his girlfriend, wife, female, whatever was going on. I wouldn't doubt he was on his first date too. Me and homie were trying to do the same thing, but I guess he just didn't like what I was doing. So the female with him is like, yeah, imagine being a freshman and not knowing how to shut the fuck up. And they just keep like going off on me, and I think I said, like, imagine having nothing better to do but like talk back to a like freshman or a 14-year-old. Like, I was clowning on them for like being mad at me and making fun of me, because frankly I didn't think I did much wrong. I guess I was just like a little bit quiet, and they replied to me like in a not nice way. So I just kept going, and the female I was with did not like that. But through that process, we ended up betting on something that got me a lot further into that. I don't want to get into the personal stuff in the relationship, but it ended up in him like screaming at me in the middle of the movie theater, and then going and getting the employees, and the employees were like, hey, you guys gotta like quiet it down. Like, the next time we hear a complaint, you guys are out. But for some reason, the guy decided to tell us this right after the employee did that. And after the movie was done, no, I was talking to her, and she was scared because we were watching Halloween Kills. Moral of the story, guys, first, like, third time hanging out with a girl, take her to a scary movie, okay? Especially if it's in, like, cuff season, when it's, like, Halloween around that time, you know what I'm talking about. But I ended up like she like screamed, and I had to like quiet her, and my first instinct was to like put my hand over her mouth, and then the guy looked back and thought I was doing something else, I guess, and just didn't like it. So he yelled at me again. After him yelling at me, after she screamed, she bet me, and I did my side of the bet. And at that point, I kind of just piped down to the guy. Like, I didn't really care about what he had to say or what he was doing. So I just kind of like piped down to the guy, for lack of a better term. I'm trying to fix the other camera, by the way, if you cannot tell. This is slightly askew, and it's gonna bother me. I kind of just like piped down to the guy. Like, I just didn't care what he had to say anymore. So I kind of stopped arguing with him until the very end of the movie. Like, I hadn't done anything for 45 minutes, and it's like an hour and a half long movie. So I guess for the first 45 minutes I was messing with him, but the last 45 minutes after I made the move I had to make, I didn't do very much besides like whisper to the girl. Like, that's all I did. So after the fact of the movie being over and it being like the end credits, he's like, he comes up to our group of friends. The girl bet me, and one of my guy friends bet me that I wouldn't do something, and I did it. So I go up to my guy friend, guy friends, like there's like 3 of them. Okay, looking back at this part of the story, we were like 6 people, like 6 guys deep, and then there was 1 girl. That sounds so bad. There were 6 guys there, and there was 1 girl, to put it better. And I go, I get up to them in their face and like do the guy thing when something happens that like was bet on. And I go, I did it, bitch. Like I get into his face and I like flex my shoulders and my traps and I go, I did it, bitch. And I guess the guy didn't like that I said that. So, I mean, it makes sense. I probably wouldn't repeat what I did. But I ended up slightly getting threatened. And as soon as I mentioned the word threat, he folded so fast. And I have never seen this guy in public again. I honestly don't really remember what he looks like. But he looked at me, he goes, you guys gotta watch your mouth and you better watch around town because you're probably gonna see me. Don't make me go to my truck. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean don't make you go to your truck? And he goes, you know what I mean. Don't make me go to my truck. And I look over at the girl I was talking to and I look over at my friends, like I ponder back and forth and we all have the same look. But all of them are too scared to say it. So I look at him and I go, yeah, imagine having nothing better to do but to threaten a whole bunch of 14-year-olds. He goes, oh, he was genuinely scared. Like he was, threat, because I like yelled it in front of the whole theater because I didn't care at this point. He goes, oh, threat, oh, you feel threatened. Oh, I didn't know you feel threatened. I'm sorry. That shows how fast people will pipe down and fold just with your power of words, and you have to reciprocate energy like that. All you have to do. It's not hard. Communication is not hard. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It is not hard. But before all of this, I completely forgot about this part. When we were at the field, after I opened everything and we took all of these amazing photos, some of the highlights are on screen right now because I love this photo shoot so much. It gets sort of late at night, so we go from the field to Enrique's house, but before that, Cole and Enrique wanted to test a couple things. They wanted to like test their speed and like their accuracy on throwing balls. So Cole is running like in a weaved line, and Enrique, like he's like dead sprinting, like weaving in a line. And Enrique throws the football. The ball comes from behind him and dots him in like the forehead and his nose. His nose starts bleeding everywhere. So if we go over here into my closet and get the gray 1-of-1 printed hoodie and look in the... Oh, it's going to be so faint on camera. Look on this cuff. It's stained. That's Cole's blood from his nose. I'll ask Dresden for the video because I don't have it. He took a video. We used the cardboard box from the... We used the cardboard box that the samples came in to clean up his blood. And like the bags to hold his blood. Like we shoved one of the bags, I accidentally poked myself in the nose really hard. We shoved one of the bags up his nose until we got to Enrique's house, where then we later cleaned him up more and then ate, and then we went to the store and then met up with our other friend Daniel, who ended up with the, he ended up with a 1-of-1 really messed up print Sonder hoodie. Like the maroon hoodie that we took photos with on these samples was a really, really messed up sample. Like it was, we only photographed the back because the front print was terrible. And it wasn't the style of hoodie that I ordered. I ordered a crew neck and I ended up getting the crew neck, so I ended up getting a sample for free. I got the crew neck later, which also was a misprint, but I didn't want to go back and talk to the company about it. I actually want to wear this more because this is a really unique print. Like I guess I don't wear this enough. I'll probably end up wearing this tomorrow. Like I don't wear the crew necks enough. But if you look at the front of this, they didn't print all of the like Japanese. There's a really bad lens flare on this lens, but you can't even really see it because it's too dark of a material. Like what the pink printing is supposed to be, like the Japanese lettering, isn't fully printed here. Like, I guess it just didn't go over in the screen print correctly, and then it just kind of, like, from afar, it just looks like a maroon crew neck with, like, specks of dirt over here. So, this isn't actually what the final crew necks ended up looking like. I ended up putting, like, a big, like, wavy Seek Positive logo, but I never got one of the final ones because I didn't care enough to get one, because I have to pay for them myself. Like, the samples, I have to pay out of my own money. So it makes it, like, extremely, extremely hard to break even. So I only buy the, like, samples that I need to get enough of a shoot done, so it's easier to break even. Or make profit. And surprisingly, Drop 1 went insanely well. Like, Drop 2 has done significantly less than I thought it would, because everyone was so hyped for these White Claw hoodies, but I'm sure they will sell enough through time. Drop 1 honestly did so insane. Like, I did not think it was going to do as well as it did. I cannot disclose the actual, like, figure-to-figure amount, but there was around $500 to $600 of things sold. And I'm only a random kid from the middle of Alaska. And all of that sold from October to January. So, what is that? October? It was the end of October. So, 2 weeks of October, November. I guess I'll combine the 2 weeks in January and the 2 weeks in November as 1 month. So that leaves us with 1 month here. November, December, essentially 3 months. I didn't realize I could sell that much of clothing, and surprisingly, the best sold item was the most expensive item from the drop, which ended up being the windbreakers, which are actually still the thing I get asked the most about. There's another windbreaker in Drop 2. It has the absence over acceptance logo on it instead of, like, the Seek Positive. But since there's a high demand for these, I'm here to announce that these are restocking. The original Seek Positive windbreaker is coming back. There was a lot of these sold. There's probably, like, I'd want to say, like, 10 of these out there, out of the, like, 14 orders I got around that time. Like, a lot of the orders were really expensive. I think it was the time and the sales that I did to, like, the Black, I had so many orders the Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale. Like, that's not to flex at all. Like, none of these figures I just gave off or anything I just talked about is to flex. It is to strictly show you guys that you guys can do it too. Like, if I can do it, you guys can do it. It's not that hard, if I'm being honest. The hardest part is just getting started, like, and then having enough self-discipline to learn. I still struggle with self-discipline a lot, and you guys will realize that a lot. But it genuinely baffles me how many of those I sold, because when I was making it, I was really contemplating not putting it on the website because I didn't think they were going to sell. Like, I didn't think they were going to sell well at all. I thought no one was going to buy them. But I guess it was just a simple enough product, and it was high enough quality. Those are Champion windbreakers, and then it's embroidered on, and it's really simple. I wish I could have done, like, an army green color, but they don't have that, which makes me sad. Like, it sucks. But something coming in Drop 3 is lanyards, and I have mock-ups of these lanyards. Oh my God. You guys are absolutely going to love them. Like, I cannot wait for them to be out, because, okay, I don't have keys yet, but I'm gonna be rocking the Seek Positive lanyard. Like, I have to be rocking the Seek Positive lanyard, and I know a lot of people don't want to get something from the website because a lot of the stuff is expensive, and I understand that. I want to have something very simple and very cheap that can be sold. And the perfect thing to spread the word is stickers and lanyards. So I have stickers and lanyards coming. I'll have the stickers up on the screen and what they look like. The brief ideas, and those will be sold in packs. Well, you could buy one, you could buy 5, 10, or 20. I don't know who would want to buy a 20-pack of stickers, but just like the windbreakers, I didn't think they were going to sell. That'll be something that's distributed through me instead of distributed through another brand. So, I mean, the lanyards might be, they might not. I don't know. It depends on how I get them done. Currently, I cannot get them through the company I work with directly to make these hoodies, shirts, crew necks, jackets, flags. The flags are so sick. Like, I need you guys to go to the website right now and order a flag if you haven't already. Like, that's an essential. Like, these flags, like, I'll put a photo on the screen. Or if you're listening, just go to seekpositivemedia.com/shop. And one of the first things is the flag. I think is the first thing. The flag is so sick. Also, the hats, the bucket hats, and the, like, distressed dad hats. Bobby personally loves his dad hat. That's a design that I had in the works for Drop 1, but it couldn't come out in time for Drop 1 because there was a hat in Drop 1 that couldn't actually be printed. Like, the file was messed up to the point where it couldn't, well, it wasn't necessarily messed up, like the design just didn't work with the way it overlapped and the idea that I had. It couldn't be embroidered correctly. So I had to figure out a different way to do it. And like it was supposed to be the circle logo. It was supposed to be like the wavy circle logo. And like a few hats got sold. So then I just sent I had to change the file so I could get them out because all the orders were on hold. I sent all those people that got the wavy hat like a note in their order, like, sorry for the delay. Something happened with your hat. I ended up printing you a hat that's going to be in Drop 2, and like a thank you. So that ended up in the birth of the distressed Sonder hat. So I just kept it for Drop 2 as like a throwback from Drop 1. I'm actually going to wear this for the rest of this because I'm working on the process of growing out my hair. So I'm gonna start wearing hats. I don't necessarily like the way I look in hats. Like, I like the way I look in a bucket hat better. But for the sake of this, I just feel like I look so stupid with the hat forwards. I guess I'll wear it like this. I look like I'm about to say, the wilderness must be explored. Oh, by the way, this is a battery for the other camera. Yeah, I think I've let my ADHD flow enough for this. I'm honestly very drained at the moment. It's 11. It's 11 p.m. And yeah, I have school tomorrow. I love you guys. I'll catch you later. Don't forget to seek positive. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you guys have not saved me to your Apple Music, I think I've said that in every single podcast. If you have not added me to your Apple Podcast library or your Spotify library, add me. Like, there's no point in not doing it. It's free, and you guys get like free info. Also, you guys can voice message me on Anchor. Okay. Honestly, Anchor's the GOAT. Like, they sponsored the first 2 episodes, and I'm working on getting another sponsorship with them. Anchor is the GOAT. Like, I love Anchor. Thank you, Anchor, for making my life so much easier. All right, bye-bye.